Okay, before I start today's Project Arcade and PlayStation 2 setup guide, if you like what you see today, hit notifications, subscribe and like so you don't miss upcoming retro emulation content here on my channel, just Jamie. That means you'll get notified for every setup guide that I release, plus it really helps out my channel too, for which I'm always really appreciative of. So first things first, if you missed the initial setup guide for a Project Arcade that I uploaded just a few days ago, check that guide out before you watch this one. It will make much more sense to you and it will get you a grasp of what Project Arcade has to offer. So of course we're looking at PlayStation 2 today for this front end system. So what we're going to need is some games in .iso file extension or format. And we're also going to need a BIOS file. So this is the BIOS file I'm using just here. This is PS2-023-0A-20-0802220.bin. And this one works absolutely fine. So what we're going to do is put this in place. Now, if you've installed Project Arcade into a different location, look for your directory. For me, I've got this installed in a folder on my desktop. So Project Arcade. And what we're going to do first of all is go into the ROMs folder. And from here we're going to find PS2. So if we just look for that a second. Here's PS2. And I've got a couple of games to put in there. So like I was saying, these are in .iso and they're going to work fine. So just drag and drop your games for PS2 into that folder. Next thing we're going to need to do is actually open up Project Arcade. Okay, so we're in Project Arcade, so what we're going to need to do is just scroll over to the PlayStation 2. And here's the games. Now, if I go to boot a game, it's not going to work, so we need to install an emulator first. If I press select on my controller and go down to advanced system options, under emulator, we got various different options here, including retroarch's own version of PCSX2. What we're going to do is just leave this to auto, and we're going to install PCSX2 rather than use retroarch for this. So we're going to open up a game. And here we go. The emulator PCSX2 is not installed. Install now. So we're going to select yes on this. Okay, so again, no BIOS found in BIOS PCSX2 BIOS folder. So what we need to do now is close out. If I press B to come out and press start, what I'm going to do is just go all the way down to quit, and I'm going to then go to quit emulationstation and yes. Okay, so next up, what we're going to do is take a look at where the BIOS file goes. So again, it's just a case of going into your directory. Now, if you're not sure where your directory is, you can actually right-click on your Project Arcade shortcut, open file location, and that'll bring you straight to it. So what we're going to do then is go up to the BIOS folder, and in the BIOS folder, we're going to find PCSX2. Here's PCSX2. And we got a BIOS folder in here, and this is where that BIOS folder needs to go. So we're going to go back into Project Arcade again. Okay, let's just go over to PS2 and let's get some artwork for this. So press start button and we're going to go down to scraper, and we're going to scrape it from Screen Scraper, which is likely the best database out there for scraping artwork and preview videos. Down to scraper settings, I'm going to change image source to box 3D, and I'm also going to just go down and enable fan art. What this is going to do is give us extra artwork should an official box art be missing. So it's always useful to have fan art. Enabled for this. I'm also going to go for box backside and also use map. Now, if you haven't signed up yet with Screen Scraper, sign up with Screen Scraper. It's absolutely free, and then you can use Screen Scraper through Project Arcade. You just need to put in your username and password here. Okay, and once that's done, we're just going to go down to Scraper now. And there we go, scraping finish, update game list to apply changes. So in main menu, we're going to go at the game settings, update game list, and just press yes on this. And here we go, we now got some nice looking artwork. So obviously if you're using a different theme, this is going to look a lot different. Okay, so let's just go down into advanced system options by pressing select, which brings up view options. And if we go in here, just make sure PCSX2 is selected. And of course, if you stick to auto, it's going to select the next option down, which is PCSX2 anyways. So we're going to leave everything as default for now. And let's open up a game. Okay, so I just pressed my hotkey to come out of there, and that's exit the game. So as we can see, everything's working fine. Now, with PCSX2 through projectarcade, if we press select button to bring up view options, we go to advanced system options. From here, we can play with some video settings. So on shader set, we can add scan lines or wave filter. That's up to you to experiment with. But again, by leaving this to auto, it's going to select no. So that's entirely up to you to experiment with. Under decorations, just a minute ago when I booted up the James Bond game, you'll notice that it's got the PlayStation 2 decorations. You don't have to have this on. In fact, you can go it to none and just put it to a 4:3 aspect ratio with black sides. Or there's other decorations here to experiment with. We've also got game aspect ratio just here. Now let me just say that if you are going to use decorations, leave this to auto or at least 4:3. If you put decorations on and put it to 16:9, then a lot of your gameplay image is going to be taken away by the decorations. So just remember that one. If we go to integer scaling and turn this on, that would take away a little bit of pixelation for us. Vertical sync, I always suggest putting this one to yes. This is going to take away screen tear, and that's a thing, especially in 3D games. If we go to internal resolution, we can actually boost this up to ×8. Now let me be honest with you, if you even get this to say 720p or 1080p, it's a massive bonus over the original resolution of PlayStation 2 games. We've also got some options here under advanced settings. So if we go to visual rendering, we can put anti-aliasing on, and what this is going to do is take away jagged edges, but that's going to be a little bit wearing on your hardware, so just be mindful of that. We also got other options here such as anisotropic filtering. So again, just like internal resolution, anti-aliasing, anisotropic filtering is going to make the textures look a little bit better, so not so pixelated. But just remember, the further up you go with this, the more stress is going to put on your CPU and GPU. We also got anti-blur just here if you want to enable that. And whilst I'm here, if I just go down to drivers in video, if you find your games are giving you a black screen, just change over the video just here to something like OpenGL or Vulkan, and that should clear up the problem. That's it for today's projectarcade and PlayStation 2 PCSX2 setup guide. So like I said at the start of the video, if this is a little bit random to you, check out the initial setup guide which I uploaded a few days ago, which will get you up and running with projectarcade, and it will pretty much teach you everything you need to know about it, including a few systems which I set up in that one. Anyways, if you liked today's video, hit notifications, subscribe and like so you don't miss upcoming retro emulation content. Also join me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. But until next time, stay retro.